Hello and welcome to another Sunday live stream. Today we are taking a step away from Linux for our first topic. We are going to take a look at OpenIndiana, which is a continuation of OpenSolaris. Excuse me. And it is derived from Unix, and that's got its own history and subject for a whole other video if we really wanted to go into that. But excuse me, I wanted to do something a little different today, a little off the wall. It's been a while since I've covered OpenIndiana, and I thought it would be worth taking a look. So let's go ahead and switch over. We'll add the other screen to the stream. And we'll take a look at this. So, at first glance, you might think that this is just a normal Linux desktop using the Mate desktop environment. But upon closer inspection, if we do uname-a, the operating system that comes back is Sun OS OpenIndiana, which is in fact derived from Unix at its core. So when you install OpenIndiana, it does require you to set separate excuse me, separate root and user passwords right in the installer, which is fine. And let's see, if we do that's what I wanted to do. And then once you get into the root user, you can do package, which is the package manager on BSD derived systems. Package update, excuse me. Little differences between OpenIndiana and your typical Linux. But if you are comfortable with a Linux system and wanted to try OpenIndiana, it would not be a stretch to feel comfortable with OpenIndiana in a relatively quick time frame. You'll have to excuse me today. I don't know why I'm coughing all of a sudden. I was fine up until the stream started. Go figure. So right now it's creating a plan, which is basically prepping to do updates. And this is a little different. Gives you a little bit different information than what you see with the typical package manager on Linux, which gives you different information than what you get with Winget or Chocolatey on Windows. So the main functions are common. The information that it gives you while it's doing an action vary from implementation to implementation. And it's all good. Good morning, David. All right, so a clone of OpenIndiana 2022 1208 exists and has been updated and activated on the next boot. The boot environment OpenIndiana will be mounted on root. Reboot when ready to switch to this updated BE. I'm not sure what that means, but If we need to reboot, we'll go ahead and reboot this. So we'll go to System, Shutdown, Restart. Good morning, Tony. Welcome. I watched your video on changing out the headlight on your Harley. That was kind of interesting, actually. I'm not a motorcycle guy, but I do like tinkering with things, and that satisfied curiosity, I guess we could say. So hopefully Tom over at Lawrence Systems has ended his live stream by now. I know I watched about 30 minutes of his stream this morning before I sat down to finish prep work to do this. So he was doing sort of a rapid fire Q&A type of thing. So that's interesting that there's no NVIDIA chip and it's loading the NVIDIA kernel module for Unix. Not sure why that is. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I do like that it prevents you from logging in as root. So we should be updated now, which is good. And so, yeah, I mean, you get everything that you would expect to see in a GNOME 2 or Mate desktop environment, but you get it on a Unix kernel. So I guess you could call this sort of a hybrid system in some ways. Typically, when I had encountered Solaris proper, it had come with the CDE or Common Desktop Environment, which was a very 90s clunky feeling desktop interface. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so Alt F4 does work to close windows. The one thing I've noticed in here is that Control Alt T does not currently open the terminal, which is a shortcut that I've become quite fond of in Linux systems. So the longer I keep this around, the more likely I am to see if there's some sort of way to map. Oh, look at that. Keyboard shortcuts. Map a shortcut to be more in line with the typical Linux system. So we want launch terminal. If we can find that. It could just be disabled. I want to scroll through before I resort to just adding a new one, and it does not appear to be there. Okay, so let's go to add launch terminal, browse applications. What do they call this? Just terminal. Okay, so we want view all applications. Alright, apparently it does not have terminal as one of the applications you can do a launcher for. At least it's not obvious. I guess it's possible that I missed it in this list, which is a little long. I would have hoped that we would have had something here, but oh, here we go. Run a terminal. New shortcut. Control Alt T. That's going to be helpful. All right, let's see if that works. Hey, look at that. We're in business. Okay. Let me see what chat is saying at the moment. Oh, Tom is still going and Cody just started. Maybe I'll have to consider changing my time a bit. So Tony, we all do something different from time to time. You know, I think it's doing something different is what keeps things interesting for us as creators. So I don't blame you for putting that video up at all. I kind of found it interesting. I always figured that changing headlights on a motorcycle would be fairly easy, but I didn't realize just how easy. So, okay. We'll come back to OpenIndiana here in a moment, but I did want to solicit for a moment a little bit of help. I recently got a comment left on one of my videos. And this gentleman that left the comment, he is from India. And the wording of his original comment, maybe I'm just being dense, maybe it's the wording, I'm not entirely sure. I tried to adjust it to make a little bit more sense of it, and I was just curious if there's any feedback from anybody on this particular video. He's wanting more fog server related videos, so that's obvious. But taking the image partition wise, I'm not entirely sure what he means by that. I'm thinking partition by partition, which fog already does in the background. But the last part is where I was more questioning. Have that image saved in different locations like a NAS server and any cloud server. So my initial thought is that perhaps he's getting at, something like using iSCSI or using NFS, which fog by default, when you have a fog storage node, it does use NFS between them. As far as saving to a cloud server, I'm not sure I have enough context. And given the way fog is database driven, I'm not sure that is even a viable option. So I was just curious if anybody in the chat has a different interpretation than the way I'm reading this, and maybe I can, if we can come to some sort of consensus, then I can think about doing a video. But right now I'm a little lost in what exactly he means. So, does anybody have any input on that? Nobody? All right. Well, let's table that for the moment, and I will maybe bring that up again towards closer to the end of the stream. Maybe we'll have a few more people watching at that point. So, anyway, OpenIndiana, like I said earlier, is a continuation of Open Solaris, or Solaris, or Slow Eris, however you want to pronounce it. This particular VM, I gave up to 16 gigs of RAM in a balloon fashion, 6 cores, and it's installed on a 60 gigabyte virtual hard drive with SSD emulation turned on, because it is actually an SSD that I've got it installed on. So, my first thoughts after not running this in a while, not looking at it in a while, it's an upgrade from the old CDE versions of Solaris. It is a usable desktop. It's not overly flashy. It doesn't have, a lot of things that you're going to find in, GNOME 40 Plus, or KDE Plasma, or, what have you, the other desktop environments that are probably a little more popular these days. But if you're just looking for something that's a little different, that has all your basic functionality built in, and I guess different is the big word here. It's worth a shot. It's worth a try. Now, I have not tested, because this is a VM and does not have a graphics card pass through to it. I have not tested it with any sort of gaming. I don't know that you're going to get Steam to run on this, even with some compatibility layer things that the BSD people are developing that allow you to run Linux apps. But if you're just looking for a distraction-free desktop to do some basic activities, this might fit the bill for you. You do have the very separated or segregated users. So if you create a standard user, you're not going to have them being able to run things and destroy a system, because they don't have root access. And I would hope that everybody here knows enough not to share the root password on a Unix system with a general user. But yeah, I mean, basic internet things, web browsing, email, it's here. It's ready to go. So what all is available as far as things in the package manager. You know, your typical commands that you would find in any other package manager are going to work. So you do package search, and you might want Muon, which is an SSH, a graphical SSH client. And it does not find that. So it was previously known as Snowflake SSH. Let's see if it locates that, and it does not. What if we just search SSH? What do we have? Repositories failed to respond appropriately. Service unavailable. That's interesting. Let's run package update one more time and see if we have any better luck. Tony says, I receive these types of comments, read them multiple times, and at times still can't make heads or tails of it. I reply saying, I'm sorry, but I don't fully understand your question. Please clarify. I've done the same thing, Tony, and you know, the issue I normally run into, and maybe it's, I guess I should say it's not my issue at that point, but usually when I ask for clarification or I tell people that I haven't been given enough information to advise on something, usually I never hear back from them. So I thought I would throw it out here, just matter of fact, and see if anybody else had ideas on a interpretation. But yeah, I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to help the person, but I'll after the stream I will publish the comment and reply and ask for additional clarification. And hopefully I will hear back from this person. They seem very polite, which is my typical experience with commenters from India. Very, very polite, to the point of calling me sir, which is a I don't know. I guess I don't feel like I'm old enough to be a sir yet. But I don't know. Maybe since I'm 13 months away from being 50, maybe I should reconsider that standpoint. All right. So apparently we've got some sort of issue here. Google is alive. Well, that's excuse me, that's an interesting response. Or I change back to my normal user. Yeah, that's okay. So let's see. That's maybe more information than I wanted. Okay. Obviously, this is a little bit different version of ping than what I'm normally used to seeing. So on Windows, you get 5 ping attempts. On Linux and Mac OS, it'll just keep going indefinitely until you kill it, unless you specify a number of pings. This just comes back with it's alive. So if I want to hear something is alive, I'll go watch Young Frankenstein, I suppose. But anyways, this is a little different. Little different, being the Unix version. Wonder if doubt that works. Bad timeout, google.com. Okay, well, obviously I'm a little rusty on my true Unix commands and the differences from Linux and Mac OS and Windows. But hey, my view is that this gives you something new to learn or acknowledge the differences at a minimum and see what you can find out. All right. So let's see. The other piece of what I wanted to cover today is, and you'll have to forgive my crude diagram here, doing some additional playing around with Proxmox and reading about some of the networking facility that's built into Proxmox. I wanted to do something a little different for, I guess you could call it a lab or an experimental setup on something now that I've got some beefier hardware to run Proxmox on. And so what I've got in mind is we've got where'd my toolbar go here? Nope, that's not it. Okay, so you'll have to deal with my bad this is VMB R0 between the virtual machines and the Proxmox host. You can add additional bridges. So, for instance, VM BR1. You could have that as a link between two or more virtual machines, and not have them directly connected through Proxmox to a physical interface, right? Because at least when I went through various networking classes, a switch was always defined as a multi-port bridge, right? So you could have the network card in multiple VMs assigned to VM bridge 1. That is supposed to be a 3. And, you know, set up your labs if you wanted to do, say, penetration testing work in a lab environment. So VM1 might be Kali Linux. You want that to have internet access, so you're going to leave VM bridge 0 enabled. But you might have, you know, some version of Metasploitable or some such VM that you want to test against as VM2 and VM3. And so you might have them connected to this bridge 1 and not connected to bridge 0. And so, this is just, it's a little bit different than, VirtualBox or VMware on how this is set up. But this is one of the next things I want to start testing with on Proxmox. So there's also Open vSwitch, which that could be set up as a VM and then have other VMs cascading from behind it. That would be, I suppose, another option. So in that case, you might have something like pfSense or OpenSense as VM1. You might have the Open vSwitch as VM2, and then you might have Kali and other virtual machines that you want to isolate connected through Open vSwitch in this case, and allow you to, keep things separated off. So I know some of you out there are using Proxmox. Some of you are using ESXi. There might be a few out there using XCPNG or something completely different. Every virtualization platform is going to have a slightly different implementation of and approach to networking, and how you might go about setting up some of these scenarios on your platform. So in any event, that's sort of one of my next projects that I want to start working on. I do have probably for Tuesday, I've got a video. Let's bring myself back on screen. Maybe we'll do it that way. For Tuesday, I've got a video that I'm working on that is covering Linux Mint 21.1 with the Cinnamon desktop. I've got the footage recorded. I just need to finish the edits, and that will be ready to go. I'm also going to be working this afternoon on the review video for the Terra Digital 8100 scanner. This is an industrial 2D barcode scanner, which it looks like direct from them is $75. So this is wireless. Comes with a dongle. I think you can use it Bluetooth with mobile devices as well. So being 2D, it will scan your registered barcodes. It will also scan QR codes. And there are a bunch of, I don't know if you'd call them protocols or standards of barcodes that this product will read. And I will definitely be going back into all that during the review. I've had this at the library for a couple of days, and it performed very well. Normally, our barcode scanners at the library are wired, and something like this is a little overkill for what we do in most cases. However, when it comes to doing inventory, a wireless scanner would be very useful. And this will be something that I would consider loaning to the library when we do inventory the next time. I think it would make things go a little faster and just keep things moving. But a full review on this is due on what do we got here? No, don't want that. Let's do this. I'm running Linux or running Mac OS, so we've got a good calendar function in here. Okay, so my target date is the 15th for the barcode scanner review. The last scanner review I did of theirs, it did exceptionally well. So it's one of those things. They actually contacted me to do a review of this particular unit, so it why not, I guess. The twist to the way I'm approaching the review on this is that I will be testing it on Linux, Mac OS, Windows, and Android. I don't have an iOS device, so I can't test it on that. So it should be interesting. If I get really, really into it, I may even test it doing pass-through to a VM. That, I suppose, could be rather interesting and probably something that you won't find in any other review on a product like this. So, this is going to be an interesting week. So I've got videos that should be coming out Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Wednesday being midweek news. We'll be up to the third episode. I'm working to try to have enough news stories to expand the duration of that. That video on Wednesday will come out as a recorded video, since my work schedule has changed a little bit since I started the midweek news push. So, where I was intending to have it be live, and last week's was a faux live, I suppose you could say. It was a live broadcast of a pre-recorded video. I'm just going to, in the short term, do these pre-recorded and just have a little fun with it. And, when my schedule changes again, then you'll probably see me doing it live. But since I do have a little bit of a fluctuation in my work schedule, this is the way it had to be. But I will say, I have had some encouraging comments on the midweek news video and the concept behind it, delivering the information a little bit quicker, a little bit faster paced, not going super in depth, but providing some information, putting links in the description, and if people are interested, they can read more about it on their own. And, I guess with the attention span of most people these days, maybe that's the way to go with this. Excuse me. Okay, so I guess the other thing, and I want to do this from Open Solaris or Open Indiana to change up my statistics a little bit on the YouTubes. It should load up here. Use @PracticalIT, which is my handle here. I see there are others out there using some variation of Practical IT as well. But looks like those are all newer channels than mine. Okay, so what I wanted to show here is that, to my surprise, in some ways, this short video I did, and of course there's an ad. I shouldn't have audio coming from this, but I'll mute it just in case. But I guess what I wanted to get to is that I really despise picture-in-picture mode. What I was getting to is that for this short 6-minute 20-second video, it's done really well in 2 days time, compared to other things I put out recently. So I find Ventoy to be quite a useful utility to have in my arsenal of utilities, and I guess I'm not opposed to doing a little self-promotion here on that. But the bigger point that I'm trying to make is that I have been releasing more videos lately, and it's helping the channel. And so I want to again say thank you to everybody that has been taking a look at those videos, and everything is helping, and it looks like I'm going to be in a good position going into 2023. I've got a fairly long list of videos that I want to make or remake, and I'm also continuing to do analysis of my channel and how I've got things organized as far as playlists and different things of that nature. And, there's going to be a bit of an overhaul in 2023. I'm going to be taking a bunch of older videos that are underperforming or not performing at all. And I will be marking them private and, potentially removing them from the channel. There are a few others that I am very much considering removing from the channel, even though my overall statistics in the short term would take a hit for that. I want to keep down the path that I've set, and there are a few videos that I've got that stray from that path, and I guess I'd almost rather remove them than have them skewing my numbers disproportionately to a topic that is not a primary focus of mine. So that is where things are at this week. I guess my other piece of news is that I've got a second box coming to me that is more of, it's a half depth 1U server that is set up to be a router. And I will likely be using that for OpenSense and replacing my USG with this box, and moving in a slightly different direction. The USG has served me well over the years, but I don't know, it's feeling a little long in the tooth these days, and I have been kind of itching for 6 months or so to replace that with something else. This particular box is low power draw, but it gives me enough overhead that I can do some additional things with it that aren't really possible with the USG. And I'm kind of looking forward to a little bit of a new adventure, dusting off some of my networking skills and changing things up a bit. And it should make things a little more interesting going forward. So, all right, I guess this might be a little shorter than normal. All right, so are there any questions or comments that people have on OpenIndiana, on anything you'd like to see in that barcode scanner review, anything of that nature that I might be able to talk about a little bit today? I know this this stream went off a little bit on a side tangent with OpenIndiana. Most people come for Linux stuff, and I thought with the overlap with the Mate desktop that maybe this would be something that people would be interested in, but looks like I've only got 4 people watching currently, so I guess that's a little bit of a lesson to just stick with the Linux path forward on this, mixing in a little bit of Windows and Mac OS along the way, but primarily Linux, and just staying the path and moving things forward. And that's all right. That's all right. I've been working on, again, I mentioned I've been working on reviewing statistics and reviewing underperforming videos and things of that nature. I've also been looking at other channels that are making similar videos content-wise. And, it's interesting. I've definitely got some ideas that I will be moving forward with in 2023. I think it's helped the channel a good deal to start publishing videos more often, even if those videos are a little shorter in nature, or shorter in duration, I should say. It's just interesting to see how changing things up a little bit can change the results that I'm seeing on the backside. Let's see. Wish I had a wireless scanning option back in the day when we had to inventory faculty and student laptops and iPads. Yes. I had to, when I was doing my internship, because I went back to school a little later in life than most people. And when I did my internship, I worked at the College of Health Professions at the university I went to. And there were, 400 plus computers we were taking care of. The group that I worked in, excuse me, which consisted of me and two other people as techs, and then my boss, who was mostly acting in a supervisory position and running interference when there was pushback from staff. But yeah, it was a lot of computers to keep track of. Thankfully, there was already in place when I started there. There was a procedure for inventorying everything, and usually that inventory was twofold. It would happen once when the new computers came in, and then they were earmarked for certain staff members or computer lab or what have you. And then when we would swap computers in a faculty member's office, there would be a cross check of the old computer and the new computer so that we had updated records. But even then, and this was 2007 to 2008. So summer 2007 was my internship, and then I stayed at the job until spring of 2008 when I graduated. And it was one of the best jobs I've had as far as what I had to do, the people I was interacting with, and just overall environment to work in. So, nothing against the library, but there are days that I wish I were back at that position at the College of Health Professions in some ways. Sounds so familiar. We tracked everything in a FileMaker Pro database. Are you familiar with FileMaker? I have watched videos on FileMaker. I think it's a very compelling product. And compared to using Access or cobbling something together on the open source side, it checks a lot of boxes for ease of use and just getting going fast on putting something together that's usable. Now, if I were going to implement something right now, let me bring this back up. Oops. There we go. So a few years ago, I discovered a product called Airtable. We can get past an ad. So an Airtable is sort of that hybrid between spreadsheet and database. It's got a lot of tagging built in. It's browser based. So I learned about this several years ago, probably 5 or more years ago at this point. But there are now open source alternatives to Airtable, like NoCodeDB, which stands for No Code Database, and says it turns any database into a smart spreadsheet. So, again, same basic idea. And NoCodeDB will run in a Docker container, so you can have it self-hosted on your own network. You're not reliant on cloud services, which is compelling to me and a lot of other people. I don't mind testing out some cloud stuff, but I'm more and more trying to move away from it. And for that matter, I dropped my Twitter account because I just wasn't using it. And with the craziness going on there with so many people quitting or being fired, I don't have a lot of faith in the platform anymore. So, yeah, this is, if I were doing something today, implementing, something today, I would probably look at going NoCodeDB. And in fact, I might actually implement this at the library to do IT inventory. I want to get all of our computers barcoded and able to be tracked. So that is one thing that's kind of been percolating in the back of my head, and I've been wanting to do that and just have more visibility on things. So let's see. Very versatile for building custom layouts. Yep. File is FileMaker extinct? I thought they were still updating it. Claris FileMaker Pro. I'm not sure when the last update came out. Looks like they've gone subscription with it. $21 per user per month, billed annually. And I got an on-premise server. Yeah, the big thing that kept me from ever using FileMaker is just the price tag attached to it. So Claris Connect, FileMaker Plus is $55 a month, billed annually. Wow. At this point, I'm afraid I just don't need that kind of functionality. And like I said, I would consider going with, putting NoCodeDB Docker container in. Claris Works I haven't heard of in ages. Um, um, AppleWorks, Apple absorbed Claris, and the name ClarisWorks was changed to AppleWorks. Okay, that's been gone since 2007. And I think that was replaced by the current iWork suite that they've got now, Pages and Numbers and Keynote, which honestly I don't use. I probably should take a look at them at some point, but I don't use them regularly. But excuse me. Yeah, I mean, all in good fun. I've had my head in between virtualization and containerization and fog. Um, those like three areas, with a few Linux distribution reviews and overviews, kind of make up the core of my channel. I try to do this little bit of branching out. And most of the time when I cover products for other platforms, they're usually going to be cross-platform type applications. Something that will run on at least Windows and Linux. But if it runs on Mac OS as well, that's a bonus. But it's been an interesting ride, getting all this stuff going on Proxmox and getting to where I'm at now with the equipment I've got now. And I've got some great opportunities in front of me. And if I can continue this pace of putting out videos, I'm going to be in good shape. So, hey Joe, you made it. Welcome. Sorry I'm late. Was fighting with my router. Uh-oh. What kind of router are you sporting these days, Joe? Just out of curiosity. If you don't mind telling the class. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way things are shaping up. Things are progressing. It's been a long time coming, but I've now got my hands on some solid equipment that is going to easily carry me into the next several years with making videos. I will be adding some additional storage to my Proxmox servers, but beyond that, I think 2023 is going to be somewhat of a chill year as far as hardware additions. The only major thing that I'm planning to purchase in 2023 is a 10 gigabit router, 10 gigabit switch. So, that is my priority. Now that I've got several devices that are 10 gigabit capable, I want to take advantage of that. That's why, excuse me, that's why I paid a little bit extra to get the 10 gigabit option on my Mac Mini when I bought it last year. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to go get some water. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I hate getting up during the live stream, but sometimes you've got to. I thought I'd be able to get by with just coffee. So, let's see. Oh, so the temporary router, Netgate 6100 is being RMA'd, switched to TP-Link ER605 as a backup unit until I get my main router back. Oh, fun. Is that email still sitting here? Actually, Tony, I think it is. But I've got a pen with me right now, so I'm going to make a note. Maybe if I write it down, I will get it done. All right, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with the direction things are moving lately, and people around me would just stop dying, I would be even happier. Another person my parents' age just passed away earlier this week, so yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to slow down every year that goes by that I'm still here taking up air. I'm going to watch more and more people my parents' age go to the great beyond, whatever they might believe about that. So, not sure what's going on today. All right. Well, we are at 12:15 Eastern. Do we have any final questions or comments? Go ahead and wrap this up since my throat is doing weird things and I don't want to keep coughing into your headphones or speakers, whichever the case might be. And I've got some video editing and recording to do this afternoon to meet my deadlines that I've established for myself. So there will be new videos Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week, as the plan is currently set. The only thing that might change that is if Tara comes back and wants a change made to the review video, which I don't think I don't think I'm going to be covering anything that they won't like. So, that shouldn't be an issue. So, sorry to hear about the deaths. Been a bad 2022 here for that too. Let's hope 2023 is better. Thank you, Joe. I am hoping for the same thing. Yeah. It's been a number of deaths here this year. Even the end of last year going into this year, it was not looking great for things, but you know, it's it is what it is. A death is just a part of life, and we're all going to end up in that column in the newspaper one day. So hopefully for all of us, that's 20, 30 years down the road. But hey, if I can get another 25 solid years out, I'd be relatively happy. Yeah, you still get to look at my face, and I've tried to make it smaller so that you know you're not falling under that cruel and unusual punishment clause in the Constitution, Joe, because nobody wants to see my face at 4K. So I wouldn't even want to see my face at 4K. So thank you, David, for the condolences. Yeah, it's crazy, and the number of between my family. So my mother passed little over 18 years ago now, and then two other families that have lost, you know, the mother of friends of mine or people my age this year. It's just it's kind of crazy. So you know, it's one of those things that happens, but you know, I always looked at a lot of these older couples, and the wife always outlived the husband, and I'm seeing the opposite happening lately, and it's little discombobulating, I guess you could say. I don't know what to think about it. So, but on that note, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I want to get my recording and editing out of the way as early this afternoon as possible, and then think about the projects I've got to work on this week when I return to the library tomorrow. So it's going to be a excuse me, having a hell of a day today. It's going to be interesting to see how the week pans out, and but I'm looking forward to getting away at the end of the month and through the first week of January, which there'll be additional announcements on that. The week that I'm gone, there will be at least the midweek news video coming out. It may not be quite the normal quality that I like to have with it, but since I try to keep that pretty current on things, I don't want to record that too far in advance. But I could also do sort of a 2022 retrospective with that, and that's when I could record earlier. So, all right. On that note, thank you all again for coming out. And I appreciate all the support and the feedback and the multiple aspects and different ways that I've got feedback from all of you. And I'm looking forward to what the rest of December and what 2023 has in store for all of us and for the channel and YouTube in general. Interesting changes that they've been making, and I am looking forward to that. So, on that note, thank you all again. If you have not done so already and you got something out of this or just liked hanging out with the people in the chat, please feel free to give the video a like. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.